Any thoughts, questions, comments, please?
So this is your unit?
Yeah.
Greek philosophy. Yeah, I mean, I'm intrigued. I would hate to bring up philosophy, and then I know that there's sometimes you don't want to overlap, or I don't want to take your theme if I were to bring it up in class. How do you see it working, like in 4th grade, like with occasionally bringing up philosophical questions?
Well, I think it's that because there's so many of them. I mean, the whole subject area is so wide, and that's what they'll answer in 4th grade is going to be very, very different from what they answer in 6th grade.
And the questions they would ask would be very different as well.
Like absolutely, because I envisage, like she was saying, our students, they love it. Kid come up to me the other day, this is the best unit ever, of all the units I've ever done, this is the best unit ever. So I'm envisaging this carrying on just on a weekly basis, doing like a kind of half-hour philosophical 20 minutes once a week, kind of keeping this going because they love it. And you could be doing the same in grade 4, just kind of having your, like we call it a Socrates cafe.
Nice.
Where they're just in groups of 4, and we just give them one of the things we do in groups of 4, and we just give them a question, and you've got it in your classroom.
Yeah.
And they just literally graffiti the paper on keywords and thoughts, and they connect ideas, and so they're just kind of bashing out that question just to kind of get things going. But that's because it will change, and we talk about that philosophical question. You're what you think in grade 6, and you're going to think the same as your future self going to think, not thinking what you used to think when you were. So I think it's absolutely. Judith, you used to do it in grade 1, didn't you?
Yeah, it was a reflection diary we used to do, and we just used to throw out philosophical questions. And just on the back of what she said, I think it was particularly successful in grade 1 because they have no idea that there's a right or a wrong answer, and I think they're very. They have these questions and they don't get a chance to. Oh, I know what would make everyone happy in the world, and nobody ever listens to them. So it's really nice to say, what would it be like if the world was, if everyone was happy, and would that be a good thing? And and just ask them really huge questions, and they have they just answer in a heartbeat because they can go on for days on this. They've got loads of ideas about it. They've got no problem.
Yeah.
And the thing is, you don't even have to approach it with questions for them. Let them generate their own questions. I mean, I've generated very few questions with my class. The questions come from them.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean, that's like up on the wall there. They've got like a Socrates wall. So whoever sits in the place where Jenny's sitting, when we're having a discussion, has the pen, and like the kids will say, "Oh, write that up on the wall. Right, that's our kind of graffiti board for the questions that come up." Jenny, can you read some of them out?
Does God exist? And together with that, how many times am I going to live? Is this our 2nd or 3rd life? What happens when you die? I'm scared. Who made God? What are the layers of life? Are dreams real? Why do different religions believe in different things? I'm confident about this unit example. Is there another world? Yeah.
So clearly you can see the main theme so far. My kids have just been obsessed with this. Does God exist? What's the whole, your kids are slightly different.
Been obsessed with what is right and what is wrong. Do we need right and wrong? Who determines morality? We had a big discussion this afternoon about morality. Who decides what's right and wrong? And so, yeah. It kind of, this is the first time we're doing it, and it kind of evolves, and it evolves as it goes. Like, we're talking all the time about this and this kid said this kid said this, and then kind of tweaking things, and even the formatting and kind of get where kids are allowed to express how they can express themselves online or in class or in discussion.
I'd say the most challenging part of it is when the kids are so into the discussion and it's trying to keep it kind of on track, because it has the potential of going way off track. So that's, I guess, the hardest part is trying to kind of pull it back to what we were kind of.
What's your summative assessment?
It's an ongoing summative assessment. They're doing a weekly reflection, but they have to reflect on what we've talked about that week and also what their parents think. So they've got to then go and talk about these big questions with their parents and kind of get their parents' perspective. What we're using.
That's great. That's really
Tom
good.
talked about it downstairs is Modo. they have required participation on Edmodo. It
Is
looks
anybody
like,
familiar with Edmodo?
Hello, Karen.
No, it's kind of like, it's like a Facebook template, but it's for the classroom, and it's closed, so nobody can come in. It's just all of our kids are in this classroom, and the parents can also see in if they want. And we're kind of learning how to do this as we go, but we've been trying to throw out questions that the kids have generated during the day online and ask them to go on, read the question, and create a response, generate a response. So it kind of creates this feed where they can see each other's responses.
Yeah.
We're trying to encourage, there's not so much commenting on each other's right now, they're just concerned with getting their own responses up.
Yeah.
But we are required, tonight for example, we've asked them to comment on 2 other comments.
So
as
tonight,
well.
for tonight, I've posted up this because our main source that we're using is this book called Philosophy Files, and we are tackling the chapter of God Existing. We're reading a little part at a time, and these are the questions, a couple of questions that I have just to start the conversation. And tonight they're required to post at least once and respond twice to 2 different people. So we're kind of, just to get them going on it, we're just kind of setting these minimum requirements just to kind of get them going on it. But as you can see, I mean, it's really good. They love taking part on it. They love kind of, a couple of people have commented.
Just to show you something right now, so scroll all the way back up. If you, instead of just creating a post, if you actually make that an assignment, then it'll assign the day that it's due, and then when you click on the calendar up in the top left-hand corner, they can see which assignment was due for that day.
Yeah, we posted an assignment here.
Yeah.
We posted.
Yeah.
Where, they had to they're doing an inquiry into a philosopher of their choice, Socrates, Plato, whoever. So this was you can post assignments up here, and you can see. So it's kind of works pretty much similar like Facebook. It's really, the kids love it. The kids love.
Some of the in class, I found some of the kids who are naturally quieter don't participate in the discussion. They don't ask the questions. It's not that they don't have the questions. It's just not the right environment in class. But this is kind of a format where they're all familiar with Facebook, and they can throw it up there, and it's kind of 0 intimidation level, which there's a lot more involvement this way.
But I like also what you guys did, and maybe you're not pointing this out at the moment. At the beginning, the conversations that were going on with the kids were very hi, LOL, LMAO, da da da.
Yeah.
And if you go through and you see the comments that the kids are putting in now, it's at a professional and educational level. And so they're thinking about online and writing at a much higher level than what they're used to, which hopefully will just carry over.
And just to go back to that, so that's our kind of, the way we're using like technology in the MacBooks and things. But also, like the girl said and the doctor said in the video, using picture books. We found a great website that gave us a whole list of picture books that are really, really good for philosophy. So we went and checked them all out at the library. But this one, even if you want to have a go this week, it's great. It's based on Leo Tolstoy, and it's all about kind of like the big 3 questions in life. And even if it's just to start something, just take a picture book and get a philosophical discussion going just from a picture book, you know. And even if you want to do that once a week, it's a really good way. But I highly recommend this one to start with. It's really, really, really good.
That or
Could you
Zen
send us a
Shorts.
list of the books? Do you have a list of the picture books?
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks.
Actually, Amanda pulled them all for us.
You know,
Okay.
and then if you just click on the book, it kind of gives you a breakdown of what the book is about and the philosophical points, and it gives you some questions that they suggest that you could ask. Some of the books are really obvious. The philosophical questions are really obvious. Other ones are, you kind of have to, it's a wee bit of a stretch. But just another way of, so it's not always classroom discussion. We're just using different ways of getting the discussions going.
Do you think the techniques from this unit, because it is a subject and discipline, the idea that philosophical thinking might be of use in other units of inquiry, and that it might serve as a tool to, to investigate something in particular. So at the moment they're doing an in-depth study of it, but surely there's sort of Socratic questioning and
yes, and
applicable in other units, I think.
it's really for your thinking skills. It's really, really strong. Your thinking skills, thinking creatively, all those kind of, and all that like metacognition, thinking about your thinking. you know. So absolutely, it can be applied for, you know, in the skills, transdisciplinary skills thinking.
Do you have a framework of discussion, like how you run a philosophical discussion? Are there like rules of how you participate and respond and?
Yeah, at the beginning, I think one thing that I've really liked out of this is that the whole idea of different perspectives comes in, and we're very deliberate at the beginning to have a discussion. You know, when we're having these kinds of discussions, this is not a persuasive discussion where you're trying to persuade me to think the way you think. It's more, this is a platform for everybody to have their voice. Everyone's voice is respected. You can ask other questions, but just the whole thing of respect was really, you know, because kids always want to, they kind of want, well, not just kids, adults as well, you want everybody to think the way that you think, right? It's kind of the natural tendency. And so I've actually been really impressed generally with kind of the level of maturity that's kind of come out of this, generally speaking.
But even just physically, I make sure that the kids are, it's not quite a circle for us, it's more of a rectangle shape, that every kid is, there's no layers, that we're in like one round, and that, like, I insist that that happens when we're actually doing the discussion, just to make sure that everybody's equal and everybody can see each other, everybody can see each other's reactions, and, you know, it just kind of keeps it more on that lane. Sorry.
How do you control that discussion as far as, you know, taking it in turns and not dominating? How many, you've had 5 responses, you haven't. How do you encourage those?
Oh, it is, it's kind of, you know, like I'll notice
that, or do other kids do it?
Right now I'm doing that, right? Because like I'll notice, I'll say, oh Finn, you haven't said something for a while, what do you think? You know, and the kids are still at that stage where someone else has said something, but they want to respond to that person, but they're looking at me. So I'm still saying, look at Lauren. You're the one they're responding to. Look at her. So it still is a little bit directed by me at this, you know. But that's just them as a group of children, you know.
A teacher once said to me that they say to the student, I'm not going to look at you while you're talking, so that you're not tempted to look at me. So you purposely look away.
Sometimes I do that, but it's hard because I've got a couple that I need to keep my eye on. You know. Sorry.
The clock is actually stopped.
That stops. Time stops. If you could just do me one favour as you're going downstairs, the discussion wall, there's 6 questions that grade 6 have put up. If you haven't written or responded to the answers out there, we would love to hear what you think. And please.